all is well. Pray that God continue to bless all of you and keep you in such a time as this. This is Filmore Spellman production presents YouTube Live. Yes, I pray that everybody's having a wonderful, blessed day. Pray that God has smiled upon you on this day. Yes, first thing first, I would like for everyone to like, click subscribe, and click the notification bell so every time I come on live, y'all get notifications letting you know that I'm on live. And so that you can join in the conversation. Here are housekeeping rules. I don't allow negativity to be posted down below. I have zero tolerance for that. You understand? Because my page is one of positivity. I try to provide, positive content. No room for foolishness, you know, negativity, no, you know, alphabet community innuendos, making postings down below. I have zero tolerance for that. You understand? My page is one of encouragement and positivity. That's what my page is all about. You understand? Because I'm 52. I'm not 52 anymore. I'm 53. I just turned 53 last Monday. Days ago. So, I'm in my mid age, and like I said, I have zero tolerance for the negativity and so forth and so on. That being said, yeah. So, like I said, I pray that everybody's having a wonderful, blessed day. Pray that God has blessed you, giving you the strength to deal with what y'all need to deal with, whether it be work or that ring. Hi, you're currently being recorded. We work in a county, especially a lot of houses. They got a lot of cameras and stuff like that. Help me say, shave your beard, groom yourself. This is when I start deleting. You don't tell me what to do, for real. Zero tolerance for that. You got some people, this is what I do. I do my own self-cleaning, housekeeping rules. If I see anybody posting something negative, I delete them quickly, rapidly. You understand? Melinda says, hi, good morning, good afternoon, rather. It's good afternoon. Right now it's 4:11 Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. I'm in the Atlantic time zone, Eastern Standard Time. Yes, like I said, none of that disrespect, you know what I'm saying? You are on dark mode. No, I'm not. Because the light will adjust, when I'm walking. I'm walking outside. You know what I'm saying? Hacker Nation said hello. How you doing? Hacker? What's going on? Yeah. Millennia, I don't know what that means. Terry Hill, what's up, man? He said, what's up, pimp? I let that slide a little bit. Oh yeah, speaking of pimps, they had throwback Thursday at the high school where I work at, because the seniors, they only can, go back and do throwbacks. You got them seniors, man. They were just dressed, some of them were just dressed like pimps, like from the 70s. And even the 80s, the 90s, or even 2000 pimps. they were funny. He said, girl, how old are you? I'm 53. I turned 53 on Monday. I'm to God be the glory. I'm alive, and everything. I'm great and everything. That's Nana Cute said, how old are you? Hacker Nation said, I'm from India. What's up? I got a lot of Indian folks be coming on my page. What's up, India? Thank you so much for coming on my page. Can read your text. Now, when it's cursing, I have to delete. Like I said, my page is one of positivity. You know what I'm saying? When I see cursing, I gotta delete. You understand? Hacker Nation said, I'm from India. Yeah. Terry Hill said, you know how we OGs do. That's right, fam. You know how we do, baby. All right? Got my Bronx side coming out. You know what I'm saying? All right? That's right. That's why I gravitate to you, fam. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Hacker Nation said, yeah, okay, bro. All right. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes my Bronx site comes out, you know, trying to keep it at bay, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it comes out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I said, today they had Throwback Thursday, man. You got a lot of kids dressing like they're in the early 2000s. They put the Band-Aid underneath their eyes, you know, trying to mimic Nelly. You know, it was a lot of Nelly themes, you understand? You know, with the baggy jeans and the Timberland boots and stuff like that. Yeah, it was funny. You know what I'm saying? Terry Wells said East New York, Brooklyn. All right, Brooklyn, baby. All right. Yeah, I never lived in Brooklyn before, but when I do travel, whether Brownsville or Kosciuszko, you familiar with Kosciuszko? Yeah, when I go over that area, visit relatives. What else? You got Bushwick, Brooklyn. You got you know, where Atlantic Avenue, that's where the Barclays Center's at. You understand? You got Nevin Street, Brooklyn. That's where the shopping center's at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Familiar with Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? You got J Street. Familiar with J Street, Brooklyn. Familiar with Broadway Junction. Many times I would go to church and I take the A train quickly to Broadway Junction and jump on the J train to get to where I'm going when I'm visiting certain churches. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You see, you familiar with all the train stops and everything. Like I said, I'm not a Brooklynite, you know, but when I do travel to Brooklyn, I know how to get my way around Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Because I got some people, you know, and I got in-laws from my first marriage, you know what I'm saying? When my late wife passed, you know, they live in Brooklyn. You understand? So I know my way around Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I'm Bronx all day, every day, but I'm not in Bronx anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere, anywhere in Nassau County. You know, it's quiet over here. That's why when it comes to the kids, I try to bring that Bronx energy up in there. Long Island, it's a different kind of beast. It's kind of light. Oh yeah? We outside, baby, now. What's up? Yeah, what up, baby? All right. What up? Who's that? Yeah, I'm doing my YouTube. What, you on video? I'm on video.
How you doing?
Yeah, got my YouTube channel. Who's that?
James.
James, what up, baby?
Hey.
All right. What's going on?
Hey.
All right, you on that video? I'm doing my YouTube. I'm a YouTube baby. Yeah. Y'all still laughing. Yeah, that's one of the students. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Yeah, I hope y'all still on. Yeah, I try to make the young kids, you know, live up in here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes my Bronx like come out, you know what I'm saying? You know. Cause yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, when it was having those 90s and 2000 themes, cause remember, it wasn't that long ago, you know. I was their age at the time, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about, wow, whoo, me God, me no, I was like 30 years ago. Can you believe that? You know, I remember with my Timberlands, with my baggy jeans, my Carhartts, FUBU, you know what I'm saying? I was young too. I was rocking mad stuff, my acid wash jeans, my stonewashed jeans, my baggy fit. You know what I'm saying? I remember. You know what I'm saying? I remember being young. And now I'm mid-age, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not suffering from a midlife crisis, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, we were young too. That's why I condescend to their level, you know, and everything. I get the young people and everything because I was wrong. I was young, you know what I'm saying? Terry Will said, whatever I call you, play pimps, Mac, is not being disrespectful. I know, fam. It's like in terms of it, but that's how we roll in New York. She bring back memories. Yeah. Nostalgic memories, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I got you, baby. You know what I'm saying? I got you, Terry. I know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, it just brings back memories. You know what I'm saying? Man, come on now. I miss. You know what I miss when I was young? Remember when we used to have video games in the candy store and the bodegas? We used to put our quarters in and we would play Pac-Man. We would play, Street Fighter and all them games. Yo, I miss that era, man. The 80s and the 90s was the best eras. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we used to have video games in the smoke shop up in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that was the best ever. When you from the city, from the hood, remember we used to get our pizzas, right? Or you get some French fries. We put some salt and pepper, hot sauce and ketchup, mix that joint up. That was the meal. You know what I'm saying? When you with your homies and everything. Yeah, I remember them days. Elliot said hi. William Lynn said, I remember just back up and meet me with, what I'm saying. I'm going to keep that. I don't think what you're saying negative. You know what I'm saying? The music as well, man. Come on. We're talking about Big Daddy Kane. We're talking about Eric B. Rakim. KRS-One. I'm from the Bronx. KRS-One. I had a lot of rappers I look up to. Kwame, Dana Dane, Houdini back in the 80s. Remember Houdini? Grandmaster Flash, you know what I'm saying? The Furious Five. This is talking about the 80s now. Yeah, Miss Melody, yes. Boogie Down Productions, you know what I'm saying? You got to give credit to KRS-One, when he did Self-Destruction. He had a lot of rappers. I would have loved to see Big Daddy Kane rap in that. I guess because it was a contract situation, he wasn't able to rap on Self-Destruction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember the block parties too, man. That's when it was lit back then. You know what I'm saying? Before all the shootings and all that stuff, before the Bloods, came over and made it worse, gangs. You know what I'm saying? We had parties back then, you know what I'm saying? And the whole nine. We definitely had parties. For real. Definitely had parties. Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time and everything. So yeah, man, I remember the block parties. I used to DJ some of them parties in the Bronx. My DJ name was DJ Ernie Earn. And when I became, hold up, who's that? 169 and Webster Avenue doing it in the park. What's up, Tony Miles? That's my old block. 169, baby, Tony Miles. Wow, what's going on, man? We were doing it, baby. Yeah, my brother, when he was alive, his name was DJ Billy the Kid. But now who do the most DJ now? And we just have to pass the baton. DJ Copo. You know what I'm saying? He's doing the most DJ. Sometimes when I do DJ, I put it on YouTube and sometimes Facebook Live. You understand? But on DJ Copo, Keith Tingman, he's the one who DJs still in the neighborhood. You understand? He's Washington owned. You know what I'm talking about, Tony Miles. You know what I'm saying? But when I used to DJ with my brother, and also the late Eddie Hartman, you understand? From 1309 Washington Avenue. You know, he used to live underneath me. He was on 12th floor and I was 13th floor. And I used to go down to his house, me and my brother. We would learn mixing, because we used to go out and DJ and everything. So we had our records. You know, we came a long way from digging in the crates, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tony Miles, you made my day. When you said 169 in Webster, we were doing it, baby. Go back to the old block now, it's different. They got these new YNs tearing up the avenue, man. Come on. We don't have the OGs like we used to. You know, of course, everybody moved out and everybody had to develop a new life and everything, but life is different nowadays, you know what I'm saying? You know, everyone's party on their own phones now. Yep. It's, you know, we have the Spotify, you have Tidal, you have yeah, you have your phones, you know what I'm saying? It's not like DJing and everything. Jose El Rayo, dude, you ain't gangster, stop it. Yo, let me pack him up. You know what I'm saying? Let me pack this dude up. Bye-bye. Talking about we ain't gangster. Come on. Get out of here. Like I told you, now, like I said, ground rules, any negativity, it'll be deleted. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. I don't even know this person from Adam just coming on my page trying to say something. Do you love Eminem? You know, he's cool. I never DJ his music, you know what I'm saying? But I'll put him up there, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, you know, the D. He represent the D, you know, 8 Mile. I put him up there, you know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah, Tony Miles said, salute, my brother. Yo, subscribe to my page, man, and I subscribe to yours, man. And those who just joining in, yo, just click that notification bell and subscribe to my page. You know, like I said, every time I come on, you know, you'll let me know. They said, what about the skating ring? Yeah, remember Skate Key? Yes, man, Skate Key. It was on if we take the 2 train, it was where Allenton Avenue at. Now I think it's the DMV. Yeah, I remember the Skate Key was right there. I remember going to middle school. We used to go to Allenton Avenue, and Skate Key was right there. You know what I'm talking about, Tony Miles. You know, Yasin said yes. Trump, nah, we ain't talking about politics. I have to pack you up. Bye-bye. You know, I gotta pack you up. We ain't doing the politics. And freestyle pitch, gotta pack you up. You know what I'm saying? Tony Miles said, roller skate, roll bounce. There was another roller rink that was in the Bronx. I just can't remember. Because I remember when I used to go to day camp. I don't know if you remember the late Thelma Boyd and Curtis Johnson, when they used to have that program called Project Pride. Yeah, it was a day camp in the summer. It was like the Claremont, you know, Claremont day camp. Hey, how you doing? It was like two day camps, you know, battling out. You know what I'm saying? Tallahassee said, "What's up, Unc? What we talking about? We just talking about nostalgic stuff, man. You know, I got my man Tony Miles. You know, we from the old avenue. When he said 169 Washington and Webster, you know, we were just reminiscing off of, you know, old school hip hop, the things that we used to do when we was a kid. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I was sharing with them. You know, I work in the school system, you know, in Nassau County. You know, with high schoolers and everything. You know, I bring that Bronx energy. You know what I'm saying? Long Island is a different energy. Even though Long Island, they listen to the same kind of music like in the 5 boroughs, but their energy is different than, you know, the 5 borough energy. The 5 borough energy, they got a different energy. You understand? You know, here they not like street smart, they're not edgy, you know. But when I bring that Bronx energy, it's, just to make them laugh, you know, and everything. And I got them saying, yo, I'm from 9 Live. I'm from the 9, baby. You know what I'm saying? I let them know where I'm at, and everything. I be having fun with the kids. It's that I ain't from America, but I get what you're all about. Yeah, every place has its own energy. Yep, it's true. Long Island, they got their Nassau County, they got their own energy, man. You know what I'm saying? They got their own energy. I feel more at home when I do visit my mom. When I go to the Bronx, it's a different energy I can relate to. But when I'm here, it's quiet. You understand? The good part about Nassau County, there ain't no shoot 'em up, bang bang stuff going on here. You know what I'm saying? None of that. None of the elements here. Won't let you down. I'm still Jenny from the block. Yeah, J-Lo from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? She from the Bronx. The Bronx. All right? When I was up in the Bronx, I represented the more senior section of the Bronx. You understand? Yeah. Just said hi. I can't make out the whole name. Can you make me, what's that, M-O-D? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I gotta come correct, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Roman said hi, what's up? What's up, what's going on, what's going on? Yeah, it's good to see a fellow Mauritania person, Tony Miles, baby. You know what I'm saying? The Boogie Down, that's right, the Boogie Down Bronx. The birthplace of hip hop. Gotta act, The late Tim Dog. Blank Compton. Yeah, I remember Tim Dog. Yeah, God rest his soul. I hope he made it to heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was edgy. You know what I'm saying? My man Tim Dog was edgy. And I remember iGuard that used to be with him. iGuard was from the old avenue. He passed away. Two of my peoples had passed away. You remember iGuard, Tony Miles? Yeah. Soul Mullet Don said, how are you, brother? I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine. Everything is good. Everything is good. Yeah. This is the street. This is the most busiest street. Sunrise Highway. Busy street. You know what I'm saying? Very busy street. You gotta hit the button to watch this. You gotta hit the button to cross the street. Now I'm seeing the 5 boroughs got these buttons. Oh my God, Justin, weren't you in Sev Live yesterday and begged for mod status? Wow. Love you too, you know what I'm saying? As you see, you can see about my age, I got my salt and pepper. I'm 53, you know what I'm saying? I thank God I'm still alive and kicking it, you know what I'm saying? For real. I'm still alive, man. I think I'm grateful to be alive. To God be the glory, man. I just come on here, talk about some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Saying words of positivity. You understand? Sometimes, you'll get those nostalgic, talks and stuff like that. That's what I do. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks. Appreciate it. Nice bus driver let me go, Can you tell only one story from your childhood, which one would you share with us? Wow. Okay. when I was up in the Bronx, right? Every Tuesday in elementary school, I used to be a part of this program. It was an extracurricular program from the Arts Connection, right? It was funded by the Art Connection. You know, it was a private organization that is connected to, you know, New York City Board of Ed. And one of the Art Connection had what you call the Big Apple Circus School. You know, with you know the Big Apple Circus, right? When you have the circus that comes to Lincoln Center and so forth and so on. The clowns and the acrobatics and all of them, you know, they will dedicate their time on a Tuesday morning to teach us how to flip and everything, how to juggle and everything. That was one of my fondest memory in elementary school. When I was in third grade, third, fourth, and fifth grade, I was a third year student. When I was in third grade, you know, because I did well in my grades, I was able to go to the Big Apple Circus School. They used to always it was a short yellow bus that would take us from public school, CES2, and take us to Manhattan, to Madison Avenue, right, on the east side, you know. And I forgot the number of the building, and they would take us, and it was a place where they have a lot of gymnasiums and everything, and it was part of the Arts Connection. And I learned how to backflips. I used to learn how to flip on trampolines. I used to know how to juggle. I used to walk on the big heavy ball and everything. That was the moment. Yeah, Tony Miles said Harlem World vibes. Also, that's right. You talking right, my brother. Yo, that was one of my fondest memories. You know, the Big Apple Circus School. You know, it was a program for inner city kids. It was extracurricular activities. The best moments were the extracurricular activities. Instead of the Big Apple Circus School, I used to be part of this program called Project Live. I remember every Tuesday after school, it was a big bus that took a lot of the middle school kids. I was in middle school, and we would go to Wall Street and cross the street from you know where the Bull, right? The bank at the time, before it was called Morgan Stanley, it was called Morgan Garrity. And I remember every Tuesday after school, we would go there, and we had what you call a mentor that would help us with our, you know, work assignments, and just mentor us and just took us to trips, you know, in New York City. And those were like the fond moments, you understand, that I had. And of course we had after school programs, you know, play basketball. I was doing tennis. I did it all back then up in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? When I see something like Ku Klux Klan, I gotta remove. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't want that energy, for real. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that energy. Nah. I love everybody and all that stuff. When you have a name like what I saw, hell to the no, no, hell to the no, nah, no. He ain't gonna be on my page, for real. Thank you for John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Yeah, thank you for that scripture and everything. Yo, my battery about to die. Yo, it's been real. I love chatting with y'all. All right, let me end it before this video is lost. All right, shalom. Love y'all all. Shalom.